Okay. Well, it looks like we don't have a video of our system anymore due to unfortunate events involving YouTube. So here's your system on video. Unfortunately, we're missing those example videos. So it's basically just me reading out loud and running through. Okay, so your character, 3 statistics: health, sanity, and strength. 2 skills: melee combat, ranged combat. Maybe, if you're very lucky, you might have escape, medicine, or first aid. They're skills. They're the only skills we have. You will also have 2 permanent coping strategies. Have a read. You will not have any other listed skills. Your written background covers that. So make sure you read the whole character sheet. Who knows? If you can do topiary, that might be important. If you think you need a skill that isn't directly referenced in your background, talk to a ref. We won't go over the Warzone rules because they're not relevant to the next game that we're running, and I intend to re-record this for future. Okay, combat. Room 13 runs a non-contact system. Any combat should be mimed in a slow and safe manner. The only time physical contact is acceptable within combat is within surprise attack rules. I'll cover them in a bit. Every character has a rank in both combat skills, even if you're completely untrained. If you're completely untrained, your number will be 5. Okay, melee combat. Melee combat indicates how many times you have to throw a punch for one of them to hit. So if your melee combat is 1, your aces, you will hit every single time. If your melee combat is 3, you will miss once, twice, before hitting your connecting punch. The misses represent your punches going wide, being dodged, or being deflected by the other combatant. In combat, when you throw a missing punch, you should mime it going wide and call miss. Miss, miss, and then you hit. When you throw your connecting punch, you should mime it and call your damage. The damage is applied directly to your health. Damage is based on your strength. If you are unarmed and untrained, your damage is just your strength score. If you have an improvised weapon, your damage is your strength score plus 1. This will cause weapon damage, as long as they're an appropriate choice. If you pick up a cushion, it does no damage. If you have an actual weapon, your damage is your strength score plus 2, and it is weapon damage. Okay, so if you pick up a knife and your strength score is 2, you miss 4. Okay, weapon damage always requires medical attention of some kind. If you do not get medical attention, either medicine or first aid, those are skills, remember, then every 2 hours that you don't receive medical attention, you will lose 1 point of damage. Once you get medical attention, you will not lose any further points from that wound. If you receive first aid or medicine, your damage is no longer weapon damage, it is normal damage. If you are incapacitated, that means you have reached 0 in a combat situation where you take weapon damage. You do not recover until you receive medical aid. If you are knocked unconscious, you regain consciousness after 5 minutes, but you remain incapacitated until you receive medical aid. You can still scream if you're conscious or yell for help. If aid is not supplied within 30 minutes, you are on 0, it's weapon damage, it's not been converted to normal damage, you die. Unless you're unconscious, you can call for help. Wail like a banshee. Okay. Average human, health score of 8. If your health score reaches 0, you are incapacitated or knocked out. If the blow that takes you to 0 was to your head, you will be knocked out for 5 minutes. If a character wishes to continue to hit you when you are on 0 health, it will take them 2 minutes of pummeling you brutally to kill you. If the blow was to any other part of your body, you are incapacitated in an appropriate way for at least 15 minutes. This means you can't move effectively under your own steam. You can scream, other people can help you move. Role play it. After the recovery time, you will still be showing effects of the unconsciousness or incapacitation. For example, being unsteady on your feet, or maybe a bit dizzy, or maybe have a limp if your leg was incapacitated. Role play it. If your health was reduced to 0 by weapon damage, you're dying unless another character with first aid or medicine attends to you within 30 minutes, then you die. If a character's health score is on 0 when they receive further weapon damage, then it's coup de grace and you die. A character with first aid can spend 5 minutes tending to a character and binding their wounds to restore 1 point of health unless the wounded person is on 0, in which case they remain on 0, but they're treated as if they've taken normal damage. So you're not dying. If you're on 0, normal damage, you're not dying, you're just not in a great situation. You can't use first aid on the same wound more than once. A character with medicine can spend an hour performing surgery on a wounded character to restore 2 points of health. I say spend an hour. Role play it appropriately. The character who is having medicine performed on them should not be moving about or running around or anything. The character performing medicine should role play whatever they're doing for an appropriate length of time, should keep an eye on their patient, and can't really engage with other things whilst they're keeping an eye on their patient, but can chat maybe. Okay. Health points lost from normal damage can be recovered by a good night's sleep. So say you are unfortunate enough to go to 0 on Friday during the evening because you got hit or stabbed. Somebody with medicine then fixed you to 0 with normal damage, so you're no longer bleeding out. You go to sleep on Friday night, you wake up Saturday morning, having regained however many points you lost, hopefully 8 if you're normal human standard, you're fine. Health points lost from weapon damage are not recovered in that way. But obviously if it's gone to normal damage, it's all good. As long as, that treated every single wound. All right. Surprise attacks. If you can take somebody completely unawares, you don't have to count out your misses. You may hit with 1 blow. This does your normal amount of strength damage, but will be an instant knockout. The victim will be unconscious for approximately 5 minutes. To make a surprise attack, call surprise attack, state your normal damage. I'm stopping streaming this because I think I've gotten confusing.